I finally like kind of got some stuff together. So I'm finally gonna just sit down and like update all the stuff that's been happening. And yeah. So I thought I would finally sit down and do a little update because I think my vlogs have been really all over the place and I don't know if they've recorded everything, and I've just been really overwhelmed, so it's been hard for me to actually like record stuff. And then I've kind of mentioned to George that I'm doing vlogs, but I don't want to get like too invasive into like my family and friends stuff, so I'm just gonna kind of ease into it, I guess. I guess it's awesome because first month of vlogging was going really well, so here's some things that I hope to change, like just just for myself. Hopefully I will oh, sorry. I got an external hard drive, so that should be a really big difference. I haven't installed it or anything yet, or just plugged it in, but I'm gonna see if that works well for me. If not, eventually, like hopefully I'll get some type of thing together. I've been pretty comfortable with my phone, honestly, because it doesn't look as crazy when I've walked around with my camera, but I'm gonna try to be a little bit more with it. What I like a lot is that it's like I literally like forget stuff that I do. So this video thing is like really helpful, and like there's maybe only a few things that I don't talk about in the video, but it's crazy because the most important things I talk about in the video, and it's just it's just a cool part of my life that I get to share. And so if I eventually feel comfortable, with my whole ex and like other people, like if they're not bothering me anymore, maybe I'll just like send the links to my friends. I haven't I haven't said anything too crazy. If not, I've told them I was gonna vlog. They've seen some of my videos, but probably not all of them because I'm just trying to stay low key and kind of almost do it as like a therapy for me in a way. But I really like it, and I'm gonna try to continue as hard as I can. So it looks like it's working out fine, like as long as I kind of take a certain amount of time each day. So I just need to kind of organize my time a little bit more. So I'm getting a lot better at organizing personally, so hopefully the videos will finally catch up, right? Anyways, let me tell you what's been happening. So rewind to I had a great meeting with this organization, and I met this great girl, and she messaged me and was like, hey, let's meet up. So the next day, Friday, I actually have a 6-hour block of class. I guess it's worth it for me because I don't have class for 2 days of the week, and then I have class Friday, basically 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., but it's 2 different courses. So the other interesting thing is that sometimes I will not have to go to the first course. It is technically optional, but obviously I want as many points as possible. I think I mentioned that. And then the second one, there will be times when we won't have class at all and we'll be working on this paper, which, by the way, is like the scariest thing ever because the teacher just he informed us last semester too, but I guess I thought maybe I'd switch out of class or something would happen or I would be saved. But he basically told us that we're gonna have to send this to an actual journal where they're gonna publish this paper. And I literally barely survived semester just like making up stuff for this paper because it was just a proposal. But now that I'm actually like in the course where we're gonna publish it, I'm freaking out. But I got a lot of help the other day from a nice friend in my department who just kind of told me, like, you can still do this, but you need to, like, not listen to your teacher, which I'm like, I should have known. Even though he's being more, like, normal this semester, like, maybe he's never, like, really had a black student or something. It's not an excuse for the weird stuff he says, but he didn't even bother me because I was distracted by all the other people last semester. But anyways, this semester is already looking way better. Like, I don't know if it's because I'm already here, I'm making new friends, you know, I kind of have a boyfriend thing going on. So I don't feel as crazy. And then I don't know if I mentioned, things are going really well with my roommate. We're like talking a lot more. We're communicating. We're just like, you know, it's just chill. And it's just not as stressful for right now, you know? So, and then the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to go home at least more than just Thanksgiving and Christmas like I did last semester. I think I'm gonna plan a trip to go home this month. It's, first day of February. So, with that, I hope it'll be promising. Okay, so, anyways, let's go back to the night I'm talking about. So, I made a new friend. We had a conversation for like literally an hour, maybe 2 hours, or yeah, like over an hour we were talking. And I also met another friend too, and I invited this girl in my class to come, and she actually came. So things are looking really well. So, you know, like class is looking well, that's looking well. The only thing I'm worried about is that paper. Well, I'm worried about class in general, so I'll just say that. So, yeah. So Friday night, I got a headache. I stayed in bed. I went to get Taco Bell, and then I said I was possibly gonna go out. Here's what happened. I texted this girl to make sure she was still going at like 8 p.m. I said, "Hey, I'm still down to go with you to this bar that you work at." And she's like, I said, "Do you still want me to come?" And she's like, "Yeah, awesome. Like, I'm gonna leave at around 10. And then I was like, "Cool, so meet you there like around 10. And then she's like, "Yeah, let's make it like 10:30. So I ended up leaving here at 10:30. But like, I figure everyone is on LA time, like they're hella late, and they're like, "Oh, it was traffic," even though there's traffic here, but nothing like LA. So basically, I left here 10:30, got there like 11. I was like, she's probably running late too. That's usually what happens. So, so I message her. She doesn't reply. While she's not replying, I think I started explaining this. I don't know how far I got. I got a drink, I chilled around, and then I saw this girl from my class. But she was with her friends, and I would look like a weirdo standing by myself in the corner. Then my mom starts calling me because she's really concerned about this stalker stuff. Because remember, he called my mom. So what happened was that my brother started texting on my mom's phone because she got really stressed out and she couldn't take it. So my brother starts texting and saying, "Leave my daughter alone, blah blah blah." My brother's basically like, he just repeats the same thing, "Leave her alone, she's not interested," all this stuff. So then his response to that was, my stalker texted me, and then he said, "You're so ungrateful. You're a pain in my ass. Like, I don't know why you're doing this when all I did was try to help you," and like all this stuff. And then, okay, so he said all this like smack talk, right? He said all this smack talk, and then that's what he calls it, smack talk. So he said all this stuff. I of course didn't reply, but I sent it to my mom, and then my mom sent it back to him. So then he wrote this long text message after saying like, "Me and my mom need a man," even though my mom is married also. And I already have a man and I don't need one. But he is not a man, so I don't know why he thinks he would be the one. But it pretty much ended there. My mom told me to warn my dad, warn my friends, warn my roommate. So everyone's kind of looking out for this weirdo. And all I have to say is, who the hell would think that? Who the hell would think it makes sense to call someone's mom and then like tell them all this stuff like he was saying like you don't know what Evane did. She like cheated on me and she did all this stuff, and he was saying all this stuff that wasn't true, and he basically insinuated that my last boyfriend, because I had met this crazy ex-boyfriend, he insinuated my last boyfriend, which was my first boyfriend, because I've only had 2 boyfriends. He insinuated the last boyfriend wasn't actually my boyfriend or something, so he was saying like, oh, you were cheating on me even though we had just like met. It was a very strange like accusation, but I don't know why you'd think telling my like mom and telling my brother this stuff would like make you like a viable candidate to be with me again. Like I don't get it. I really don't get it. But every time something good is happening in your life, you kind of get these like tests and these like things, and honestly, as crazy and as like mentally trapped as I was last semester, I already feel so blessed this semester. Like I've been more depressed than I was last semester. Like when I was in a relationship with my first boyfriend, I got that depressed. So I kind of know it could be worse than last semester, but this was a different kind of like sadness. Like I just needed to get through it, but it was like I was trapped. Whereas other times it was like I already knew I was depressed, but I was really good at like faking it in a way. But here it was very obvious. So I guess that's kind of the difference. I guess it's like when you're an old person and you're just like you don't give a F about anything. So yeah, so that's what was happening on the phone with my mom, and so she tried to call me and do all this stuff and whatever. So I finally hung up with her, and I was reading those text messages while there's supposed to be a concert at this bar. It was just a mess. It was a mess. I couldn't enjoy the concert, so I kept going to this private corner, right? And it was like almost like an alley behind the bar. It was like the weirdest place ever. Like I should have filmed it, but obviously I was a little bit busy. So if I go there again, I'll definitely film it. So yeah, I was in this like alley where like the bartenders would go through to get around quicker to the other side of this, like the outdoor area. So this guy passed by and he was like, oh, this is kind of sketch, right? And then I was like, yeah, it's pretty sketch. So he was like, hey, like, he was like, sorry. He just said this is really sketch. It's like an alley, like bad stuff could happen. I was like, yeah. I was kind of laughing and smiling because in that moment, I was actually pretty social. I guess this semester is already going really, really well. I feel like myself again. I feel like even though people try to tear me down last semester and stuff, maybe that wasn't their intention, but they did. So, I feel like my spirit animal is a phoenix, because I'm sure other people feel that way too. Like every time I watch Harry Potter or X-Men or something that emulates that phoenix, like, yeah, I just feel like it's kind of something everybody goes through, but it gives me, some type of hope. Like you're supposed to go through different stages and you're supposed to get stronger each stage, and I don't know, that's what I like about like fiction. It has some connection to real life. It has to be based on something, but it's just crazy to think about it in that way. it's insane. Okay, so to continue what I was saying, I stood there and, I was looking at my phone. There was a lot of people there. I just kind of stood there in like the quiet alley part, and then I just kind of stepped a little bit out. I said I was gonna get another, I thought I was gonna get another drink. I don't know if I mentioned I got a drink, and it was really good actually. It was very good. I figured like, oh, my friend will show up soon, so I might as well drink a little bit so I can be like a little more fun and a little more comfortable. So, I was like, the only thing that I don't like about, well, I guess I'll say what happened, then it'll make sense. So, my friend wasn't coming, and it was already like gonna be like an hour, I think. It was gonna be an hour from the time she said she was gonna be there, because I got there half an hour late, so then another half an hour passed, so it was a total hour, like, since I left home, went there, and she was supposed to be there. She wasn't replying to my message. I think I tried to call her once, and then I just was like, okay. So I just kind of stood there. So the guy that came up to me and was like, oh, this alley's kind of sketch. He comes up to me and he starts talking to me, and this is where I'm thinking, like, this is why I don't want to be left, like, this is why I don't leave the house. That's the first thing that I'm thinking when this stuff happens, is like, man, if I wouldn't have left the house, I wouldn't have to deal with this. But the other thing is, like, I'm not, like, the type of person who would just assume that a guy coming and talk to me is automatically trying to hit on me. I have a few friends I have a best friend who I know that he likes guys, but, like, if he didn't like guys, I would probably be interested in him. Like, we have a certain connection, but it doesn't have to be, like, I would never pursue him, and he would never pursue me. We already know that. But we have a connection. We have a connection regardless, and that's kind of stronger than, like, anything. And I kind of know that too. Like, we don't even have to talk. Like, since I moved here, we don't even talk that much, but when we get together, we have a really deep connection. So, I have a lot of hope for meeting guys in places, and, I have brothers, so I give people the benefit of the doubt. But this, like, quickly, like, just turned super ratchet, because I was talking to this guy, and the way I talk to guys is, like, it's not like I hate you, but it's almost like, I'm really sarcastic, and it's almost like, off-putting, And I actually don't do that on purpose, but I know that I do that because I'm, like, nervous. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if he's, like, interested in me or what. So, but I just kept having the conversation. Like, I was trying to joke with him, but it was almost kind of like, I wasn't being mean, but I wasn't being nice. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I wasn't trying to be rude and walk away, but I also was trying to be social and, like, accept the fact that someone was actually talking to me when I was, like, standing there by myself. So he said he didn't know anyone at the party. I said I didn't know anyone at the party. And he was, like, from Milwaukee, and he was, like, a musician. I know there's a lot of musicians here. And, yeah, we had a really nice conversation. And the conversation was great until he's like, you want to sit down? So then he's like, okay, sit down. And then, actually, I forgot a part. He's like, hey, do you want to get a drink? Like, I should have already known, like, something was, like, wrong, but I think the first drink, I'm really a lightweight, and I've also, like, lost a couple pounds since going to the gym. So I guess from the first drink that I finished, that I was like, oh my gosh, this is really good. It was like it was vodka with a bunch of, like, berry stuff. I also don't drink that often, so I don't know. It was just a bad situation. So basically, he was like, yeah, you want to take a shot? So I was like, okay, sure. So then it turned into, you want to take lemon drop? I've never tried that, but I drank it in like 10 sips, I swear. Okay, maybe like 5 sips. And then we sat down, and we sat down for what felt like 20 minutes. And then, like, there was this group of guys next to us just talking to each other and chilling. And then, like, we were having a good conversation, but it wasn't anything, like, out of this world. It was just, like, kind of funny and, like, kind of okay. And then, like, the next thing you know, like, this freaking guy, like, comes over and, like, he looks like he's about to lean in to kiss me. And I just, like, stopped him and was like, please, like, stop. And then the group of guys next to us were like, oh, it's probably jet lag. Like, yeah, it's jet lag. And, like, the guy I was talking to, he was like, oh, I have the peanut gallery over there talking. So he at least made me laugh. I felt really bad, but I was also uncomfortable and really, really awkward, and I didn't know what to say. Like, because I don't even know, like, I have a boyfriend, but then, like, it's like, okay, then why were you even talking to me? I don't know. I guess, I don't know, it was just weird. It was just weird. And I didn't know what to do, and I should have just already left. But it was like 12, and my friend was supposed to come at 10:30, and so I was there until 12, and I was like, I came for my friend, but I'm really just gonna leave soon. And he was like, oh, I'm gonna leave soon too. And he's like, I'm gonna go to this other bar. And then he's like, oh, my Uber's here. And then he got up and he was like, okay, I'm going to this place. Do you want to if you want to come with me, then, like, we can go right now. Like, just follow me. And then that was probably the most uncomfortable moment of my life. I exaggerate. But, I just sat there. And he walked away. And then I just kind of looked at the guys next to me, and I didn't say anything. I called George, and I was like, dude, like, some weird stuff happened. Like, I think I'm down the street from where you live. Like, and I think I did that strategically. Like, if something went wrong, I was kind of close to him. So I had a feeling I was going to end up calling him. So I was like, hey, I'm, like, down the street. Do you want me to come over? So I took an Uber there with a really, really, really nice guy. Like, he actually reminded me of, like, a friend, I don't know who, but he was really nice, and he was telling me about his wife and how he lives really, really close to me. His wife is, like, pregnant, and they were thinking of names, and they thought my name was beautiful. And, you know, he was giving me compliments, and we had a really good conversation about how I was thinking about being an Uber or Lyft driver, but I wasn't sure. But I don't think I can, because, yeah, I don't have my stuff together for that. And I just kind of, like, I don't know. I don't think I've driven for enough time to be doing that. It would be good for me because I would get to know the city, but it's too much pressure. But I thought about it, and I respect Uber and Lyft drivers. So that guy was really nice. So when I left, I got another guy, and I keep canceling when they look creepy, but this time I used the Uber line. I know one of them's line and one of them's pool, Uber pool. And then basically the guy I got was super creepy, but, like, I don't know why, I just, like, went, and the guy turned out to be nice, and I almost got lost looking for, like, George's place because I was a little bit tipsy, to be honest, but at least George was waiting for me, so I don't know why I think that's gonna save me. Oh, somebody knows where I'm going, I guess. But this was my first time actually going out with Uber, so I guess it was a little bit disappointing that I waited for this girl and she never replied and she never showed up. So I guess I felt like I went out of my comfort zone, and first of all, I took an Uber, which usually I drive places, but it's a good thing I didn't because there was no parking there, like, at all. And then also I was gonna drink, so how does that make any sense? But I mean, obviously it would have been ideal if we would have went together, And then it also would have been ideal if we, had kind of, if she would have just said she wasn't gonna come, because I talked to her about 2 hours before we were supposed to go. And now I know how it feels when I flake on people, but the other thing is I don't let people go places and then flake on them. If that makes sense. Like, I don't let people, like, I always tell people before they leave or before something. I don't think I've done this, but if I have, this is karma, but I feel bad. She ended up, so I ended up hanging out with George, and then that was really cool. He made me feel better about all the weirdness, and I was gonna tell him about my stalker that night, but I honestly could not, build up the courage, and I was a little bit tipsy, so it wasn't the time. But I mean, he was really comforting and cool, and he was actually gonna go out that night too, but I guess I hadn't read that he asked if I wanted to go with him, but he didn't end up going. And you know what? The next morning we had plans anyway, so the next morning I woke up and I was reading my text messages, and the girl I was supposed to go out with, she does have a lot of mental issues that I think I mentioned, but obviously, I don't care about those. She was a cool, I didn't care about it in the way that I was like, oh my gosh, this is not going to be a problem, but now I see that it could be a problem, because she said she was kind of having trouble, getting out of bed, and she has a lot of, stuff. And so I understand, I wasn't mad. I was just like, man, I'm just kind of an A to B person sometimes, and I was like, man, I just went there. I think if that guy hadn't talked to me and I would have just went home, I would have felt better about it, but I almost felt like something was wrong because he talked to me, and I felt like, where you feel like, man, if you would have showed up, that wouldn't happen. But I can't think like that, because literally, I'm happy to be, alive, and everything was safe that night. But I'm usually indoors. This is the first time I'm going out of my comfort zone this semester, so it's already looking a lot better. And, yeah, I'm glad George was there, and he was pretty much there for me this whole weekend. He's been there for me from the beginning. So, we woke up and, we went to see the Oscars short film nominations. So I don't necessarily have a stance on the whole, Oscars situation, but I do agree, how the hell is it that every single, or almost all the nominees, I didn't even bother looking, but how is it that, they're just not that diverse? Where are Asian Americans, and where are Latino Americans, and where are black people? Not just black people, not just Latinos, not just Asians, just somebody else. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't know. But I ended up seeing the movies and not even thinking about all that controversy. And the short films were amazing. I was very impressed and surprised. And the coolest part was that there was a movie from Austria. So George obviously enjoyed the whole thing. He got to teach me a little bit about his native language. The movies were so good. I don't even know who would win. Because they were all really, really good. I related to a lot of them. George's favorite was The Stutterer. And I like that one a lot too, because it was very well-rounded. But I thought, the USA one made me cringe. So it got the most reaction. But he thought the one from from Austria was actually not that great, but I thought it struck some type of emotion in me just a little bit because I related to something from it, about my stepdad. And I think my favorite was the one that was, shoot, I can't remember the name right now, but the title is Friend, and it's about the boy with like a bicycle. If anybody has seen it, whatever, I keep saying I'm insert information. Hopefully I'll do that soon. So yeah, that one is called Friend, and I like that one the most. Also like the Stutterer too, but I feel like the Friend one actually made me like sad, like really sad. But they all kind of did. So, yeah, that was Saturday morning. Saturday morning, we went to the movies. That was really, really great. I was a little bit hungover, but then I got a drink at the movie because it was Alamo Drafthouse, and so I got Old Time Lemonade. It was pretty good, but there was something in it that made me feel extra turnt, like a little bit drunk.